Mitrom and Bandhuvam, Namaskar and welcome to our intellectual Kshatriya channel, South Asia Maps. Today we are continuing our fascinating discussion on Islamic Jannat visa playlist. Mughal Empire, especially, it is discussing about the historical political events during the Mughal time, the relation between Aurangzeb, the Mughal Padshah, Alam-panah, and Sarmad Kashani, a prominent mystic at his time. And just we are adding a little bit to myth to that. So, excuse me for my allergies. Alam-panah, that means the exalted ruler. Alam means the entire world. Pana means ruler. Alam-panah Padshah, Alamgir Aurangazeb, confirms the Islamic Jahannam visa stamp. Remember, the title is Jannat. I don't want to change and put too many titles. Okay, Jahannam. Kashani, Sarmad Kashani is a kafir. He will not go to Jannat. According to the militant, conversion-based, aggressive ideology of Islam, which Swarup Mahayogi considered is a political ideology, imperialistic ideology, hegemonistic ideology, garbed, masked under religious banner. Alam-panah Padshah confirms Islamic Jahannam visa stamp. See, Islamic Jahannam is Islamic hell, a visa stamp. And the passport of mystic and ascetic Sarmad Kashani. That is the topic of discussion. According to the militant conversion-based creed of Islam, it has a concept of Jannat and Jahannam. All the Muslim converts, proselytes who confess this gibberish Arabic kalima, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, means there is no God except Allah and Muhammad is the Rasul or a messenger or a dealer or a mediator or whatever it may be. He will automatically goes to heaven, Jannat. Again, the Jannat has a lot of residencies, compartments, hierarchies. Every Muslim, Islamic proselyte will go there. The ones who do the Ghazwa, Jihad, close that, they live in the quarters, apartments which are close to Allah, where Allah resides. Muhammad will reside there, and some biblical prophets whom the Muhammad dragged in the initial stages into Quran, they stuck there. This Jesus and Moses, Abraham, all those will also live in that area. Ali and all these people. Every Muslim goes in the lower level. If you do jihad, you will go an apartment that is pretty close. You can see once a while Allah. And the important thing is, anybody who doesn't profess this irrational belief system called Creedal automatically goes to Jahannam. The important thing Swarup tells is, in Jannat, it's not like Muslim converts happy that they were beneficiaries of Islam and go to Jannat. They are not happy. They take the pleasure seeing the Allah baking the kafirs, non-believers, in the Jannam. The lowest part of Jannam is Hawiyah. Allah drops all these kafirs, ask them, do you believe in me as a God? These people said no. Do you believe Muhammad as a prophet? They said no. They dump him in Hawiyah, abyss, bottomless pit, means pit. That means going forever down, down, down. That is, it is reserved for kafirs. This is gives the historical geographical context for that. Before we get into that, this is our intellectual Kshatriya channel, South Asia maps, and if you have not accessed, you can go and access there, and there are more than 195 or so videos. By June 2022 I posted, you can look at them, and I will be putting this particular into the playlist called Jannat Visas. You go to the playlist and you can access the related one. Some of these ideas are drawn from the works of Voice of India think tank, the greatest thinkers of modern India, Mahayogi Sri Ram Swarup ji, who passed away in 1998, and Mahadrishta scholar, Rishi of resurgent India, Sita Goel ji, passed away in 2008. Work continued by the Belgian Indologist Dr. Koenraad Elst, Understanding Islam through Hadith, Religious faith or fanaticism. Some of the concepts are taken from the works of Mahayogi Ram Swarup. This is the contemporary, around about 1682. That means at the time the Aurangazeb, who ruled the Mughal Empire for nearly 25 years. He became the emperor in 1658. 25 years ruled from North India. 1682. 2 years after the natural death of Chhatrapati Shivaji, he came to Aurangabad, Marathwada in Deccan, and spent next 25 years ruling the Mughal Empire from Deccan, relentlessly waged war on Murtad, that means a deviant. Muslims themselves, the Shia kingdoms of Golconda, Bijapur, of course, Kafir Marathas, and was not successful and died as a disappointed old person at 90 years nearly at Ahmednagar on the Balghat Plateau in the Desh territory of Deccan. These are the contemporary provinces you can see. The Safavid Persian Empire here, the important Mughal Subahs at the time, Kabul, Kandahar, Lahore, Delhi, Agra, Awadh, Ayodhya, Allahabad, Bihar, Bengal, and Ahoms ruled here, Akran and Orissa, Gondwana and Malwa. This is Thata, that is Sindh and Multan and Gujarat and Kutch, and the Khandesh bearer and Aurangabad, Bidar, Bijapur, Golconda, and the rest of the related kingdoms and so on. The Sarmad Kashani was a scholar, a thinker. He was born in Safavid Empire in an area called Armenia. He is an Armenian. At the time, Armenia and Georgia and Azerbaijan, they were in the Safavid Empire, the Caucasus region, Caucasus Mountains there. He was born there and lived most of his life in Safavid Empire. So prominent at the time, the Persian Parsi was the official language. Then came as a trader to Sindh, Thata. At Sindh, he met a trader called Abhay Chand, and highly influenced by the Indic system, Hindu civilization and culture, and he quit trading. He was a very wealthy person, gave up all his health, and he and Abhay Chand moved from Thata and Hyderabad. There is a city called Hyderabad, a division called Hyderabad in Sindh. There is also city and division called Hyderabad in Deccan, ruled by Nizam. We are talking about Thata, Hyderabad, then moved to Punjab, Lahore, Multan in Shiraiki, finally settled in Delhi at the time of Shah Jahan's time. He was a person who born almost the same time like Shah Jahan born, I think 1592 or so, same. And Shah Jahan passed away around about 1661, 666. He was beheaded, executed by Aurangzeb, that is Sarmad Kashani, 5 years earlier. We can say almost he is like Shah Jahan, Mughal ruler, a Ghazi, Islamic jihadi and jilod. I think I missed it. Yeah, Sarmad Kashani. Thata. Then there some of his about him talks about the contemporary travelers who also worked in the Mughal Empire, like doctors, physicians, and the fighters like Francois and Bernier and so on. What happened is Aurangzeb's elder brother Dara Shikoh is not a bigot. He was a very broad-minded person. He used to frequent with Kashani. And one thing you have to remember is at that time there was a tradition of Hinduism and Buddhism. Some of the mystics and thinkers and scholars were naked. They called Digambars. Even the Jain, this school of thinking is there. That is nothing to do with having any sexual overtones and connotation. They are the naked people. They thought they came into the planet Earth without any class, and they renounced the world and became sadhus and took the nakedness. And Kashani, that is Sarmad, was one such person whom Dara used to frequent when Aurangzeb won the throne and he executed Dara. That means Dara was sanctioned Islamic stamp, Jannat stamp, because he is a Muslim too. And afterwards, the mullahs instigated. Aurangzeb didn't like him, and he thought Sarmad was also blessing the Dara in the civil war conditions, and he was charged with heresy. And Sarmad Kashani didn't recant. He stayed firm on his belief system. He's a mystic. He's not a Muslim, or he's not a Hindu. He's like a mystic abroad. At that time, the open-minded person. He influenced Dara Shikoh extensively. Former Bharat President, Rashtrapati, Sri Abdul Kalam, see there is a wrong Ajat, Abdul Kalam was also influenced by him. He wrote in his book. And that is about the execution. He was executed in 1661, and Dara Shikoh was also executed in 59, and Murad was executed in 61. Because they were the Muslims, they go to Jannam and Jannat, and because Kashani was not a Muslim, he went to Jahannam, the hell. And here we can see the Safavid Empire here. Here you can see the Baluchistan. Here is the Safavid Empire. Safavid Empire, the Mughal Empire, Ottoman Empire are called Gunpowder Empire. They were the very prominent empires from 1500 to 1700. At that time, the Islam was at zenith. At one time, Ottomans thought they will conquer entire Europe. That didn't happen. So Safavid Empire and Kashani and was in the Safavid Empire, and they were born and came to, this is the Sindh, Tatar region, and met that Abai Chand and moved with him along that Hyderabad will be somewhere here, and Multan and Lahore, Punjab finally settled in Delhi. And this is the Sarmad Kashani, the mystic, and is a Digambar, that means naked. I think this is the one of the prince, Dara Shikoh, having audience with the mystic ascetic Kashani. Born in Armenia, Safavid Empire, died in 1661. He is a Sufi. Mysticism, atheism, syncretism, and poetry, and metaphysics, and all these are his specializations. He influenced Dara Shikoh, Abul Kalam Azad. I'm not sure Abul Kalam Azad or Abdul Kalam. Anyway, life in Delhi, and Sarmad Kashani. Abul Kalam was the contemporary of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, if that is the case, and that is about it. And you can see the Kashani here, and Sarmad Kashani here again, and Sarmad Kashani, and various pictures of Sarmad Kashani here, and Sarmad Kashani here, Dara Shikoh. That is about the interesting topic of that what we discussed today, that is Islamic Jannat visa. In the Mughal Empire, Aurangzeb, Alam-panah Padshah confirms Islamic Jahannam visa, hell visa, on the passport of Ascetic Sarmad Kashani. And you can read a little more about Ram Swarup's works, and I think here I have not opened that. Very interesting book of Mahayogi Sri Ram Swarupji, and in the Voice of India books, you can go to this Voice of India big bucket books, and all the Ram Swarups and Sitaram Goels, most of the books are here, and some of the concepts I have taken here in the Understanding Islam through Hadith, Religious Faith or Fanaticism, and he discusses Hadith extensively in English language, and we talk about the paradise, hell, and in this part. Thank you very much. This is your presenter J. Reddy. See you later in other presentation.